Hello, it's Nicole and welcome to my channel. One roadblock that crafters commonly run into is picking the right colors for their projects. There are a lot of ways that I overcome that obstacle, and in this video, I'm going to show you just one of them. This also happens to be a little look into some of my organization tips, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. So here on my desktop, I have two things that I use quite often. First, here is my color wheel, and I use this when I am mixing colors to make sure that I'm getting the right hues and I know which shades to be using in order to get just the right color I'm looking for. And then on the back side here, I use this as a refresher to get great color combinations, whether they be complementary, split complementary, triadic, tetradic, etc. So I'm always using a color wheel. This is a really great tool to have in your craft room. And then on top of that, I do a lot of swatching. Now, not only do I swatch my ink colors, but I also swatch my cardstock. Every time I get a new color cardstock in my craft space, I cut it down and add it to my swatch collection. As you can see here, I do make them sizable enough that they're actually usable. A little tiny swatch, a little square, doesn't ever tend to be enough for me to really get a feel for how colors will work together. So I tend to make them about this size, and this happens to be 3.5 by 2.5 inches. And then I like to do something with a little extra flair, and I do round the corners and dip the corner on this end with the We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch. That's just something that I do, and of course it's certainly not necessary. But what is necessary is this little bit of detail on the side here. I add in a return address label with the name of the color of the cardstock and the brand. This way, when I need to reorder or as I'm pulling paper out, I know exactly what it is that I'm using. So that way I can give you those references, whether it's in the video details or on a blog post. And then of course, also for reordering when I want to get more of that cardstock. Here you'll see an example where I have two companies on one piece of cardstock, and that's because this particular hue is close enough from both companies that it's basically the same. So instead of feeling like I need to have both of these papers from both of these companies, I know that I can get it for one or the other. And if I'm placing an order at one location or the other, and I happen to need this hue, I'll go ahead and just order it. So not only do I keep a swatch of each color, I keep them in their approximate color families. As you can see, I have them broken out into the same families that I have on the color wheel: red, red-orange, orange, yellow-orange, yellow, yellow-green, green, blue-green, blue, blue-violet, violet, and red-violet. I also have a few extras in here. I have browns, I have grays, and I have whites as well. I do also break out my specialty papers, my metallics, my glitter papers, and then any other specialty paper that I might have in my current collection. When I'm working with my colors, I really do consider carefully how the color appears to me. In this case, I have these reds here, and they really do appear like a true red. And that happens especially when I put them up against colors that I may have designated as red-orange. When I'm looking at these two colors, I really see this as more of a traditional red, and I see more orange in this particular color here. I can show you an even more detailed version by looking at this poppy. This is really truly a red-orange, and this is more of a red. When I start looking at a true orange, now I can really see the difference. Red, red, orange, orange. So I go through and consider carefully each of the colors, and then I break them up into these groupings. And this truly does help me to create pleasing color combinations for my projects. So let's take a closer look and pick out some really cool color combinations. I'm going to start with red here, and I'm going to do a split complementary. So instead of coming right across and doing red and green, I'm going to split that and do red with blue, green, and yellow, green. So if I have my colors here, I can start by looking at some great color combinations. Cranberry and Peacock look stunning together. And even if I add in Stardust, that is a really bold, gorgeous color combo. But maybe I don't want to go so dark. So I do like the Cranberry, but I think I want to pull in something a little lighter. Maybe I'll go for Mist. Better yet, let's do Mermaid here. Really, this is another beautiful classic color combination. But if I want to add a little pop to it, let's add in some green. I can add in cilantro. This looks very Christmassy to me, so I think I'm going to avoid that. The Stardust, again, looks really pretty, but this starts to look a little mustardy. So let's go for Citrine. This is a really fantastic color combination. Now I have something that I can go ahead and start working with for a project. For a second color combo, let's look at a complementary combo of blue-green and red-orange. So I have, again, my swatches from both of those families. And as you can see, picking any two of these together will create a gorgeous project. I could do Lagoon and Blush. I could do Lagoon and Velvet. If I wanted, I could do Arctic and Sorbet for a beautiful light look. Really, the possibilities are endless as I'm looking at both of these color families merging together to create a really stunning look. For one last color combination, let's look at something analogous. So I'm looking at violet, and red. Analogous colors are those that are next to each other on the color wheel. So I have my three colors here. And again, as I start to spread these out to see what the possibilities are, I start to see some really cool combinations that would work fantastic. I can use cranberry along with raspberry, and then maybe add in some winter clouds. Or if I want to start on this side, I could do amethyst with pencil eraser, and then pull in a light shade like maybe ballet slipper or peony. As you can see, both of those combos look fantastic together, and it's a great starting point for a project. I hope you enjoyed this look into my creative mind and how I use a color wheel and my cardstock swatches to get started with a project. If this inspired you to make your own cardstock swatches, I would love to see them. When you share it out on social media, don't forget to tag me at Pixel Maven's Retreat. I'll be back soon with more color coordination tips, but until next time, happy crafting. Help support my craft education efforts by giving this video a thumbs up and clicking on the subscribe button and bell so you'll get notified when I create new content just for you. If you're looking for some more crafty inspiration, how about one of these videos?